Shlomi, should I mention to the island?
Yeah, it's a car scratch.
I wanted to pull my high school Rabbi, and I've never been called the biggest yeshiva buffer in my entire life. I want to call my high school Rabbi and say,
Let's send it to them. Oh, I forgot my microphone. Where's my microphone? It works? Uh-oh. No? Battery's dead? Of course that helps. Is that on? Oh, now I have a problem. Well, these ones are new, so. So then those ones are good. So those ones are good. That's good. Okay, wait a second. You guys ready? Yeah. You guys ready? Okay, so it was a very big Shabbos. Shkech. It was a very big Shabbos. Many of us tried to be Shomer Shabbos. Who tried? Who tried to be Shomer Shabbos? Okay, so we're gonna have a raffle for that oilam afterward. What? Oh, who managed to be Shomer? No, trying is also worth something, you know. So I tried to be Shomer Shabbos. I think for the most part I was successful in being Shomer Shabbos, and I found it to be an interesting experience being a Shomer Shabbos for the first time, and to be makbid on a kli shemachta leheter at a soif. And I did it with all my chumras also, and let's see what came out. So first of all, the calming the nerves. So I'm not, I can't say that I didn't need to really calm my nerves so much. But there were one or two times that I caught myself that I was, Derech HaShulchan's misasek. The only thing is that what was I being misasek in? I was being misasek in the forks and the knives, and things like that were on the table, which anyways were tadir and betashmish. So that I don't feel like I need to do tshuva about. I got that, that itself is a machlekes, and the Mishabur brought down shitas not like that, but the Mishabur says we could be makel, like the Shulta Gibayrim, that the not forks and knives on the table were things that the person doesn't have to worry about. But Lamaisa, it's a little bit interesting, this entire halacha, yourself realize already, it's very interesting. Rabbi Kallus, in the third volume, in the 99th page, he brings down from his illustrious uncle, the Chazain Ish, that the Chazain Ish, when he was asked this question about, I called it the other day fidgeting. I think that was the word that we went with, right? And I called it fidgeting the other day. It's interesting. I wasn't 100% sure how the shaila was asked to the Chazain Ish. We mentioned it from Chaim Kanievsky in the Aliyah B'Dilchasa in the 57th volume, in the 47th page. Over there it says that if a person, the way it's written over there is if a person is playing while he's learning. I guess, I don't know if it means dafka learning. It means it could be that in Beis Kanievsky and in Beis Karel, it's the only thing you're doing is learning. And it could be, I don't know. But if he's playing while he's learning, So they asked, he claims that this is the question he asked straight to the Chazon Ish. There wasn't like even that, there was a comparison. This was the question that he asked to the Chazon Ish. So he says that the Chazon Ish said that's a tzarech. That's a tzarech. If you're playing while you're learning with something at the table, that's considered a tzarech. So I was a little bit nervous. What is this? Is this not like the Aruch HaShulchan? Dainu, it's being even more makel than the Aruch HaShulchan. The Aruch HaShulchan was telling us that when a person is being misasek and he's just playing with something without thinking about it, so then, when you do something without thinking, the Aruch HaShulchan is telling you that that's the Isser. And anytime you're having a timing, you're doing it for, a positive reason that you want the dafka to do it. So that's already going to be mutter. And the Chazon Ish came along and the Chazon Ish said that when a person's playing with something while he's learning, that's called a tzarech. So what is it? Is he saying mamish the Aruch HaShulchan? It's also not the derech so much at the Chazon Ish to say like the Aruch HaShulchan, number one. And number two, it sounds like he's saying even a little bit more than the Aruch HaShulchan. In other words, he's saying even a bigger kula. If you're just playing with something while you're learning, it sounds like that's what the Aruch HaShulchan was answering. Playing with something while you're learning, while you're just not thinking. And on that, the Chazon Ish is coming along and saying, if you're playing with something while you're learning, that's called a tzarech. Because that's, that's a normal thing that a person does. Okay. So then first of all, then what's asur b'chlal? Again, it's a two-part question. It's hard to know because the Aruch HaShulchan says diburim b'farashim. Chazon Ish is really just, it's hearsay from his goyim, his nephews that were these big goyim. But it's hard to know what exactly was the nidin. So again, I'll set it up. Was the Chazon Ish saying exactly like the Aruch HaShulchan? Okay. Or was he saying even more than the Aruch HaShulchan? And he's saying, if when you're playing, if while you're learning, you're playing, so then that's a tzarech also. And then he's saying even more than the Aruch HaShulchan. So then what's asur? And what's asur? That would be the clarification. That's all we have to clarify. So Rabbi Nissan Karelitz, in the third volume, in page 99, over there, he brings down from the Chazon Ish that the Chazon Ish said that if it bothers him, listen to the nusach. I would imagine this probably the same halach from the Chazon Ish. It's his two nephews that were talking b'shem the Chazon Ish. He said if it bothers him not to have something in his hand, so then that's already called the tzarech. That's if it bothers him not to have something in his hand, that's already called the tzarech. So now we have like two nischayos from the Chazon Ish. We have it bothers him not to have something in his hand, and then we have another nischay from the Chazon Ish that if he's playing while he's learning, that's already called the tzarech. Yeah, so what's asur? What's I guess I'll say even stronger. Does this mean that anybody who over the course of Shabbos was bothered because of this halacha? There he was, trying to be a Shomer Shabbos for the first time, and he was trying to not move anything at all. So that's the pshat that was annoying because the whole time he had to chap himself. Is that itself a tzarech? To not have to be makbid on the halacha, or no, the Chazon Ish needs something positive. He needs that he wants to have something in his hand, and not that he's just bothered that he keeps on having to stop himself. Hagufa, what is that in Lamdas? Try to think about that. It's like interesting shot. Shiva Bachar, I'm always like busy till like 2:00 in the morning talking about life's issues and all other stupid things. So like somebody should tell them, talk about this and try and figure this out. When I want to have something in my hand so that it bothers me to not have something in my hand. Okay, is that the same as I want to have something in my hand because I don't want to have to think about this halacha the whole entire time and not to have to, because I don't want to be. It bothers me. Obviously, you see that I need to have something in my hand. Is the bacher under the hat or is the hat over the bacher? The famous chakir, right? So, like I don't know if this is so different, and then it becomes. So what exactly is the isser over here? It's very complicated. It's very complicated. I was thinking, according to the Chazon Ish, it could be the only thing that's asur, according to the Chazon Ish, is like the case we mentioned from the Ben Ish Chai. Let's say I stam want to be masader my house for no reason. Stam, so not because it's messy, not because whatever, not because I need it for today. Stam, I might as well do it now. Why not? That we saw the Ben Ish Chai, and rightfully so. That's for sure not a tzarech according to everybody. Meaning that's a klishim lachtal heter, whatever the case is, that you're doing not for now. It's something you very well could have done for tomorrow. But you're doing it now, and that would be a good example of a klishim lachtal heter, which is not a positive tzarech right now. Mashenkin held the Chazon Ish. Anything that I'm doing which stares me from being bothered and I want to have something in my hand, that's a positive tzarech. Being bothered, according to the Chazon Ish, is something positive. That's called tzarech. Being stirred, I want to have something in my hand so that it's not, I like the way things feel in my hand. That's one Havana. And I also don't want the whole entire time to have to, to not touch something. It bothers me. It stirs me. Maybe that's also called, maybe the Chazon Ish would be Mekel. Maybe the Chazon Ish is coming off Fukei Derech HaShulchan. Maybe. And then it comes out very interesting. It comes out that what's the only Yisr? The only Yisr is when you're lahedja doing something which is not a today's tzarech. First of all, does everybody understand what I'm saying? This is what I was thinking over Shabbos. I think it stems with what you see in Reb Nissen and what you see in the Reb Kanievsky. The only thing is, it's mamish. It's an unbelievable halacha. Then this entire halacha was just coming to tell you, don't move a kli shel machli heter when it's, I guess, absolutely unnecessary. Something in that type of nusach. If that's the case, it's really not so hard to be makbid on this in Shabbos. So I was trying to think, which cases am I going to have to change my lifestyle if I want to be makbid? And maybe we'll actually be able to be shomer Shabbos. If you go with this Chazon Ish, which I think is a chiddush. I'm not saying it's not. I don't think this was Pashup Shat in the Gemara like we saw. But, more than the Chazon Ish we can't expect. So it comes out, anytime you're doing anything, for now, for a positive reason of right now, either because you don't want to be bothered or because you like the way things feel in your hand. So half the time, Rabbi say, it's anyways going to be kelim shetashmishin or tadir, and half the time it's going to have a din of oichel. And the other half of the time, it's going to be the het of the Chazon Ish anyways, that you're doing it right now for a positive reason, that you shouldn't be bothered and you shouldn't be stared, and therefore it's going to, Kimat is like, what cases are usher? Once you have this, what cases are usher? Does everybody understand what I'm bothered by? What cases are Sachar Kol can be Aser? So this is like what I try to over Shabbos find, cases that are Aser. Again, if you go with the Hagdara of Rav Elyashiv, anything that gives Hana is. I thought I had a case. I have my hot water bottle, which we discussed in the Kollel many times, right? And I got all excited because the hot water bottle was there, and I said, "Oh, great! Now this is going to be something I can't move, right? I just wanted to move. It was like on the floor. Just why should it be on the floor?" I didn't need the market, but that's not where it belongs. And then I realized, no, according to Rav Elyashiv, I can move the hot water bottle anyways, because that's oichel. That's something that gives hana. It's not something that they were ever geyser on. It's not something that they were never geyser on. Any item that gives hana. So this gives hana. It certainly gives hana. So therefore, it's nothing that they were ever geyser on. It got interesting to realize that no, it's not. It's just interesting. The water inside the hot water bottle, you're not allowed to use for Natil Sidayim. It's just a nice idea because the water, it says in the halacha in Natil Sidayim. Now somebody asked me on Shabbos after I was holding the hot water bottle. Somebody said, "Well, why don't we use the water now? After it was, we used it to make us warm and cozy. So now why can't we use the water for Natil Sidayim? It's nice, warm, cozy water." So the answer is because any water that was malachte was done with it is possible for Natil Sidayim, and this is called malacha. This is called malacha. I thought you would find that interesting. But anyways, a component. So that's not a good example. I'm allowed to move her. I'm allowed to move her also because she gives hanoya, right? So if she gives another, we're never geyser on her. Again, according to Rav Elyashiv, and you put the Chazon Ish and you put this all together, it's going to be hard to find. And then we're going to take these coolers because the whole entire thing, the Minhag Yisrael is to be makel on everything. So, what's usher? What? Empty pitcher is mistama tadir and betashmish. It's like a kais and a kaira. Empty pitchers, empty bottles. These are, I don't know. That doesn't do it for me. I had on the table. I have these napkin ring things. These napkin ring things. Maybe like these napkin rings. And they have like a little place to put a flower and don't know. But I wanted to just move it around and no one's going to stop me. That was I wanted to go like this. I just wanted to go like that, right? And that was a good example of something I can't do. Unless I need to have something in my hand. If you need to have something in your hand, what should you use? Use a fork. You like that, huh? No, because just like when you can avoid using a kli shel machli yeser, you're supposed to avoid it. Where's my raya? That was the raya of the Mishnah Berurah, So instead of Wug asked you to move around, this was my chance, to be Michal Shabbos. I was going to move the napkin ring, And I said, no, you have the fork. If you want to just play with something, play with the fork, right? Oh, maybe we could done, my Babas and Taitas, they gave up their job for Shabbos, You have to know, So, okay. So napkin ring, that was one. Does everybody agree with the napkin ring? It doesn't give a no. It's not food. It's not it's not tadr b'tashmish. No, I don't think so. I don't know. It's tadr b'tashmish. I doubt it. So it's something that holds the napkin. I don't think so. I thought that was a good example of we finally found the kli shemachta leheter that you can't move around for no tzarich at all. That was one example. Then, so clothing, jewelry, besamim glasses, all those things. We saw that the great Gedolim, they said that that's tadr b'tashmish, and clothing, Rav Elyashiv wanted to say that's eichel. That's eichel. I got to understand Rav Elyashiv a lot more. To say that clothing is tadr b'tashmish bothers me. Should I tell you why it bothers me? And Rav Elyashiv did not say it. Rav Elyashiv said that clothing is like oichel. Oichel is something that gives anod. This was kepsach anod. They weren't geyser on bichlal. I understand that. To say it's tadr b'tashmish, I don't know. Why is your weekday shirt the tadr b'tashmish? Why shouldn't we look at each item? Why shouldn't we look at each item? Why not? It's got what I'm saying is explicitly against the Meiri. But the Rabbi Yashiv was the Melech of all Kol Beis Yisrael. So Rabbi Yashiv is Kaveya. It sounds interesting, but a Machlekes Rabbi Yashiv and the Meiri, Rabbi Yashiv wins. That's how it goes. That's how it goes. Even though the Meiri was a Rishon, but Rabbi Yashiv knew that, or Rabbi Yashiv felt that we didn't have the Meiri, or whatever it is. But that's it. So the Mamaisa, if you go with that, so I don't understand that clothing is called. You understand that clothing should be tadr b'tashmish when you're wearing the clothes. Maybe Shabbos clothing, maybe ulai. I don't even know, right? But the weekday clothing, it's a regular kli, shemalachta the heter. And now with Rabbi Yashiv's Agdara, they were never geyser on bichlal. They just weren't geyser on this item, this type of item. They weren't geyser on kisei kodesh. They weren't geyser on food and things that are like food. And clothing, just a moment, is like food. So therefore, so then I finally think of so in the male of clothing, you could just move around indiscriminately, and you can get it off your chest and just move around clothing, and no one can stop you and whatever. But then I thought of a case. I had a case. What do you think about this case? It's all totally in the first thing I just said. I have in my house on Thursday night, I have a shir bachar. So they have these keter chairs, these black keter chairs that you're sitting on right now, right? These types of chairs. And so after the shir, they took them and they just put them on the side like that. There's like 30 chairs, they put them on the side, right? Those chairs are be'etzim for, a shir, a weekday shir, right? Are they tadr b'tashmish, those chairs? Now, again, if you learn like those that wanted to say clothing and even weekday clothing is maybe tadr b'tashmish, you get down. Maybe chair in general is a concept of a type of item that is tadr b'tashmish, and maybe on chairs in general, you make a lip like, I don't buy that so much. I think Rav Yashiv's Agdara is Agdara. That be'etzim weekday clothing are not tadr b'tashmish, and there's a heter of weekday clothing, like we said, because it has a shame of oichel. Everybody's with me, I hope. Okay. Chairs, I would think the regular chairs at the table, that's a vada tadr b'tashmish I hear. Let's say I have chairs whose whole function is to not be tadr b'tashmish. They are chairs that you store. That's exactly what they are. You store these chairs and you use them only when you have like an extra occasion or something, whatever. Maybe a simcha, maybe a shir, maybe this, that, whatever. So I was thinking that's a good example of a kli shemalachta leheter who is not tadr b'tashmish. Yeah, so if I need anything on Shabbos, that's not the nekuda, right? Well, so here it was mamish. I finally found the case, and I was able to be Shema Shabbos maybe for the first time ever because the chairs were there on the side. Friday night they were there on the side, and nobody said it. Didn't bother anybody. Didn't bother him. And then on Shabbos lunch, so my wife said, "Why are they there? They should be over there. They belong over there, right? Let's move them. Let's move them. Let's move them." You know what I said? Let's move them. Let's move them. Let's move them. What'd you say? I took it because it's a kli shemalachta leheter. Let's say go from Mekayimai to be ma'ayim. Let's move them. What'd you say? Right? Shabbos kodesh. Right? Shabbos kodesh. I have other things here. Don't ask. What? Sorry? Wait. So we're getting to the problem. No. So I said, we're not moving them. We're not moving them. It's a kli shemalachta leheter. She doesn't need the makim. She doesn't need the makim. You're fidgeting. Huh? No, fidgeting is when she's doing something now positive for the tzarich of now. This is mamish the Ben Ish Chai. This is something like they don't belong there. I'll prove to you it doesn't bother her or us or any of us because Friday night, it doesn't belong there. It doesn't belong there. It didn't bother anybody because Friday night we're there the whole time. We're there. She just said it doesn't belong there. It doesn't belong there. It wasn't tzarich malkim. It wasn't tzarich Shabbos. It wasn't yoifi of the room. It wasn't anything. It's just they don't belong. She said the magic word. Right? They don't belong. No, the bigger one. Right? They don't belong there. They don't belong. You don't belong here. They don't belong here. You understand what I'm saying? Yeah? Getting too emotional? Yeah? Okay. Yeah, no. So Mamela, do we finally found the case? I said, we're not moving them. It's a kli shemalachta leheter. We're not moving them. They're staying here even next week. Right? No, what do you say? We found the case. It's a klish malachta leheta that no one will be making except the Aruch HaShulchan. Right? Maybe the Aruch HaShulchan, whatever. Even the Aruch HaShulchan, Yeshladin, it's lahedja doing it not for now, Yeah, okay, maybe the Aruch HaShulchan will be making. But let's say we don't go with the Aruch HaShulchan, right? What? I don't know if it's a chana. Rabbi Lieberman says, well, anyways, it's a chana. Meaning, any case I'm going to find now, he's going to say it's a chana. I don't know if it's a chana. I'm doing it, and it makes the room look a certain way now. Hagam, it's not that's necessary. It's like something in the middle. I don't know if that's it's putting it in its place. I don't know if that's a chana. I don't know if that's a chana. It's like if I can't go the opposite of a chana, if you think about it, right? I'm putting it in its place of where I'm going to have to move it out when I want to use it. I don't know if that's a chana. I don't know what that is. I don't know if that's a chana. I don't know. What? No, I'm just showing you that if she would have told me on Friday night, no, I can't sit at the table and whatever. So then we have yoifi, and we could say it's for now. Sorry, what'd you say? What? No. She wasn't saying that the yoifi. I'm saying that's the case. She wasn't saying mitzad the yoifi. She was saying mitzad it doesn't belong here. That's the Ben Ish Chai. Rabbi said she was mekaven to the Ben Ish Chai. Right? So that's it. We found the case. Okay, found the case or no? Yeah, that's it. And I refrained. I didn't move it. I didn't move it. I didn't move it. So I should win anyways. I should win. We shouldn't even make a raffle. I should just win. No? What do you say? Rabbi Sher? No? What? Yeah? That's it? So I'm not sure. What? Everybody agrees? Erwin? What? Oh, I'm sorry. I don't want to. You okay? Okay. What? Sorry? So I'm not sure. Because, Rabbi said, let's try and down this in a minute. Let's say, how does this work? We're dining on the etzim cheftza. We're trying to down what type of a cheftza this cheftza is, right? What if there would be a shalom zachar on Shabbos, right? So then what? Then it turns into, what happens on the Shabbos that there's a shalom zachar? It turns into a tadr b'tashmish. Understand? Let's down on each item here. What? No. Avada will be mutter to use. I want to know on a Shabbos when I have a shalom zachar, right, or a simcha or something, whatever it is, right? What happens on that Shabbos? But Oisei Shabbos, it turns into an item which will be, it turns into a chair. What?
In a shul, you'd say it's more.
No, it's a chair, a shul, you're right. It's Vadai Tadr B'Tash. I'm saying, something right. Let's say in my house, so each, we done it on the right usage of the item by Klali. Right? How that work? One Shabbos, it's not working. What happens? One Shabbos, it's you need the screwdriver. What? You need the screwdriver? Well, yeah. Yes. No, don't give it to them. You do it. You know exactly how to do it. They don't know how to do it. Okay. Rabbi said. It does say. Rabbi said. It doesn't take 50, 60 guys to kill them. It only takes one. Right? Go on. Rabbi said. What's the love? The love of Tadr B'Tashmish is mistama that something that is Tadr B'Tashmish is something that Chazal were not going on. Is that not correct? The gather is that something that is Tadr B'Tashmish is something that Chazal weren't going on, like oichel. So I just have a hard time. If we're trying to figure out an item and dan the cheftza, is this a type of cheftza that is Tadr B'Tashmish, that means we're trying to dan, is this a cheftza that Chazal were not going on? So then what happens? You can have Shabbos that it turns into Tadr B'Tashmish. It's not mistaber. No, not mistaber. So mistaber, we have to look at the holistic usage of this item, right? And therefore, let's say these chairs, right? So I can imagine that what I'm saying is correct. There are types of chairs which are called the attachment stick chairs, and those types of chairs that were never goes on. And then you can have chairs like Rabbi Singer said, if you have, let's say, the regular chairs in the shul, it's the exact same looking chairs. Those chairs, they were goes on. These chairs, they were not goes on. The ones in the shul, they weren't goes on. Because in the klalius of all the weeks of the shul life, those ones are always used, and therefore they become tadar b'tashmish. In my house, just one second, in my house, and on the Shabbos that we're going to use them, they're going to still be a kli shemach leheter, and they're going to be mutter l'tzayach kufay or l'tzayach Shabbos or whatever. But they're not going to turn into tadar b'tashmish. I do believe that we found the case. And therefore, this is the first time we found a case of something that's actually kli shemach leheter, that they were, you can't say they weren't goyzer on, they were actually goyzer on it. And we found the case. Okay? Is that there? Sorry? What do you mean? So let's say that happens a lot of times, right? That happens a lot of times. No, that's true. That does happen a lot of times. That you'll have a metzias of where, one was left over. So yeah, Chay's right. That'll come out that she's not a tadar b'tashmish, and therefore that's a great case. That means that my black chairs, if one of them gets left out, so then she's a kli shemach leheter. What? I imagine that it's. I'm sorry.
That's right.
Any ties? No, because all you call and that Rabbi Yasher said. Rabbi Yasher said jewelry and clothing. Rabbi Yasher put jewelry. Stam, I forgot to mention. Thank you for reminding me. Rabbi Yasher put together jewelry and clothing, because jewelry is something that gives hana, it beautifies the person, even though it's like I don't want to call it a ruchnius, but it's a, what's the word I'm looking for? Emotional hana, I don't know. It depends on your wife, I suppose, but yeah, you get my point. Okay. Yeah, they are back. Okay. Danny, if you unmute me, then you can get me on this TV also. No, he's not unmuting. Okay. I'm unmuted. Okay. Let me get back. So we're all good? I'm unmuted. Okay. Let me get back. So we're all good? I saw like watches. A regular watch is a mistama tadar b'tashmish. We don't have that. So the chair case is a good case. What else case do I have? Excuse me, what? Kisei shel Eliyo. It's probably a. I mean, stomach, it's a kli shemach leheter. Stomach's not a tadar b'tashmish. Yeah, it's not a bad case. Saying in Yochain Kiniaski's minion, it is. Okay, so. Okay, so. Okay, but the rest of the places. Okay, toys. Toys we spoke about the other day. What did we say? Toys, we said that it's tadar b'tashmish. It gets complicated. The truth is that does get complicated. Which toys? It doesn't get toys. I guess toys is a general. That's a little bit complicated. I guess toys is something that's tadar b'tashmish. That's what they do all day. Is they use the toys. Come on, a bathing suit. What's the din of a bathing suit in general? It's a general shaila. This one. Right? I was thinking this the other day after the share. Who's I talking to about this the other day? Okay. What? What do you think it is? You think it's a regular beged? No, meaning it's miyuchad to do something which we can't do on Shabbos, right? We're not allowed to swim on Shabbos. Why are we not allowed to swim on Shabbos? Because the minig Yisrael is to not go into a swimming pool. Why is it a minig Yisrael? Because baptism is cold water, and baptism you should be allowed to go into it, right? Elamai, Chazal made Xera. Sorry, not Chazal. The minig of Ashkenazim throughout the Dairis was not to go into a swimming pool because we're afraid you're going to do schita, because we're afraid all types of zach. And that became the minig Yisrael. I mean, that is the minig klar, and that's the minig that we're makbid on. Something that's a minig, mistama, that itself would give it enough of a credence to turn it into a malach d'liyaser. But the nitin that we get down on is, do you look at it, it's just a regular beged? Or do you say, no, I know what its ikr function is. Its ikr function of this beged is to do something that we are forbidden to do on Shabbos. You understand my nitin? That's the nitin. It's, yeah. What? Sorry? The painter's overall is a little bit, this might be worse. This might be worse because the painter's overalls is something that that it doesn't etzim enable the isser, right? Okay. I forgot who I'm talking to. It's assuming that one can't go into the swimming pool without a bathing suit, right? So, Mamaisa, it's okay. It's a little bit worse than overalls. And I just realized what he's wearing under the overalls. Okay, Akapanim, Tachas Geret. It's a winnowing hat, no, because Nisan told us that the winnowing hat they actually use for winnowing. He takes responsibility for that. Sorry? You don't use it to swim. It's the Schwimm Kleider, versteht? But this is nicht zum Sach. I don't know. My question was a different question. My question is maybe that's a beged, and a beged they were never going on. Both in clothing, we could just look at begadim, and then I'll go back to our overalls. Maybe begadim is something not in the gzeira. You could theoretically hear such an interesting svara, but I don't know. I'm not. What? No, because weekday clothing, there's absolutely no isser, right? There's no isser. What? Wait, Yossi, just take this. What? Sorry. Yeah. Yeah, no, but we're saying that weekday clothing of that type of chefza could be chazal we're never geyser on, right? No, because this has an additional issue, is that this is something which is miyuchad to be used maybe b'shas eser. That's the question if it supersedes. But okay, let's go weiter. Laundry. No one's going to say that laundry, because no one's using it now, becomes like a klishim nachtal heter and not tater b'tashmish. This chefza they weren't geyser on. Okay, you can have something laundry which is totally unusable and totally wet. It can have a side reason why she turns into muksa, which is mitzvah that we have to get to. Grada. Yeah, Grada. I mentioned the other day about an egg, talking about food. I got to say a lashon in the Aruch HaShulchan. It's called Nun Ches. Aruch HaShulchan says a lashon. He says we're going to learn about this when we learn about raw food. We have to talk about these things. But he says an egg is not muksa. You know why? Because kama b'nei adam shoyse, yes, kama b'nei adam de shoyse noisei chai. There are some kama b'nei adam. What's kama b'nei adam? Like there's a tzibur out there that eats them raw, right? He doesn't just say the chazan. No, it sounds like the nafkamina is that was 140 years ago in Nevardik, right, or in Petersburg. But today is not the kama b'nei adam that do it, because people are nervous to do it because of salmonella. And because of all other things, so people dafka don't do it. What? Elamai ice cream, right? But nobody will have a raw egg. Elamai, you're going to make the ice cream. Making ice cream on Shabbos generally is also. So it's not shaykh to have a raw egg. Is there any like dressing? Yeah, I was about to say, did they put into a dressing? No, but nobody's making it on Shabbos because of lush and whatever. It's not the common thing. But a regular dressing? No, so then it'll become a bnei adam, yeah? Yeah? This is, you're taking a chayes fest? Okay, so then no, it could be. Oh, okay, thank you. Abi takes a chayes. So it could be. Rabbi said, it could be that changes then it could be it's mutter. Then it is. I was going to say that the fita Aruch HaShulchan Sagdara, you have to dime today. Is it something that people drink? Or is it something that they have recipes that are mutter to make on Shabbos that people actually do? And now I'm hearing they do. So then you have the Aruch HaShulchan. So therefore eggs are not muksa Shabbos. It's very negeya because they're always in the door over there. And if it would be muksa, it would be evil muksa. You can't move at all, So it's a very negeya tikazach, Sometimes you have an egg. No, by it's mamish negeya. Sometimes you have an egg that's like, you got the tray of Shabbos and it's there. And it's for sure one of them is going to break because it's near things. So feed this, it's allowed to move it around indiscriminately. It's our goof anything you want for no reason, just a fidget. You want to play with the egg and things like that, right? Put it between the finger lock and whatever. So if you this, it's going to be mutter. Okay, yeah. I mean, Lamaisa, there's a big taina on this. Should I tell you the taina? It's mamish b'kitzur. I don't want to talk about this now, but klape bishul akum, if the guy makes an egg for himself in your frying pan is now treif. Your frying pan is now treif because an egg is something that's not nechel chai. It's not even nechel chai b'shatzat chak. It's not. We know that bishul akum applies to anything that is edible raw. So then there's no bishul akum. Anything that's not edible raw and it's oila shulchan malachim. So then it's yes bishul akum. The example of the Gemara of the Shulchan Aruch upon him is an egg. So something doesn't shtim here. Something doesn't there. It's an example of something that you don't eat raw. There's an example you don't eat raw. This is a moment. It's something you don't eat raw. And Varai, it's Isser B'Shalakum. So what's the Aruch HaShulchan saying? Because there are some people that eat the egg raw. Something doesn't stem. But he doesn't say that. The Aruch HaShulchan doesn't say that. If the Aruch HaShulchan would have said Chazanim, I would have accepted it. Your answer would have been valid. What? If the Aruch HaShulchan would have said that, I would accept it. He says, Yesh kama b'nei adam sheshoysin oisam chai. Yeah. One second. I'm sorry. Rabbi Singer, are you from Petersburg? From wie kommst du hier? Munkatsch, wie kommst du hier? Neveidig, als was letzte. Weißt du, was du etwas, was gewinnen daheim? Als ich sage, was letzte, darfst schweigen, für der Mensch, was wird kennt, was tut sich etwas in die Städtloch? Ja? Okay. Kapanim. Was? I'm still in a good mood from Shabbos, I'm still holding Barvena Tam. What? He doesn't say that. Yossi, I'll throw you out. Right? I have a thing, a spirit, yeah? Who was it? Zolti said it? I'll throw him out also after. No, it's true. I was thinking like Rabbi Zinger. I was thinking like him. I was thinking like that also. That it's maybe not a stira, but the Aruch HaShulchan's a stira. The Aruch HaShulchan's a stira.
Let's say that he must be doesn't say chazuna, but that doesn't mean that he disagrees that they use that as medication purposes. So they use it as alcohol.
Yesh kama b'nei adam d'shoysin oisay chai, that eat it chai. Why are you causing trouble? Right? So then why klape b'shalakum? So let me get back there. Rabbi say, I have to get to the good stuff. We didn't start this year yet. Rabbi say, Rabbi say, as I say, I thought of another way I can get my anger out on Shabbos. I thought of another way. I just, nobody was able to stop me. I just went over to the door and started closing and opening the door. You should have seen me. I was going like this, because a door is not a kli. It says b'chlal zicha no mokse b'chlal. That's a good example. If you want to really you want to get your anger out or something like that, just go and open and close the door like that, That's a good thing. It's not a kli. No, it's a good one. That's mamish a good one. It worked for me, right? It seems to be that it didn't exactly work for Shlomi, but it worked for me. What? The bathing suit, I'm not so sure about, I must admit. What? A pocketbook? A pocketbook for sure is a Kallus Machtal Yasser. What do you mean? No, it's not. Yeah, no. It's like saying I have a fancy wallet. I want to makashit myself with this type. Wait, slow. Rabbi Zinger. I'm gonna even at the simcha, she puts inside her phone, and she puts inside like. What? It's interesting that you know what's going on in the bags, the ladies. What yeah. No, so he's right. If you have a bag, he's right. Okay, you can't, Tonash Teppin with Chassidish Yidin. He says that if she has a bag and it's absolutely not for Moksa de Kazachin, I'm not going to argue on you, and she uses it only to it's mamish. There's nothing in there except for the fluff from the original day. It's like there's still that paper loch in there. So then I beside. The guy goes, no, it is a baguette, it's a tachshit, and then he's right. I'm not zugnish, doesn't tachshit, then it'll be mamish, it'll be a klishim lachta, that will never go easier on b'chlal, right? It'll be mamish like a davar shal oich lefir of the ashiv. But let's say a bathing suit, I'm talking a little bit masupik about that, I don't know. Oh, that's the only thing. You wear the bathing suit 3 hours beforehand, while you're in the water, while you're not in the water. I'm not like Rabbi Margaret. And he's Lamaisa from Africa, so he really has much more of a, understanding in the limits of the amount of clothing that one needs to be wearing. What were you thinking? You didn't think I was going to. What did you think? Okay, now let's start this year. I saw Bal Ma'or. This is a very nice idea. The Bal Ma'or says something very interesting. I wish I can give the whole shir over based on this Bal Ma'or. But I'm not going to. The Bal Ma'or, it's at the end of the Masechta. It's on Daf Mem Zayin. I saw it brought down. And then I looked it up. It's a very interesting thing. The Bal Ma'or says that it's only Nesar. He has a whole new Agdara. He says a Mardik Avar. He says it's only Nesar, a Klisha Malachta Leheter, some type of a Klisha Malachta Leheter, which can come to a Malachta Leheter, which can have like a Shaykhis to Malachta Leheter. He says that, it didn't just say it has to be something that has like shaykhis to Klisha Malachta Leheter. Okay? What's his name? He says, Hayitachen, you think that there was a Havamin in the world that they answered, listen to his examples. You think there's a Havamina in the world that they answered a cup and a plate and listen to his lashon, and a shulchan? He doesn't like a Havamina in the world. That's like his example. There's no Havamina in the world. Unbelievable. We spent the entire day, Wednesday, Thursday, trying to figure out, what's the dinim of tables, what's the dinim of cups. He says, you think there's a Havamina in the world they asked those things? No, because those things could never. Now he has a whole new shita. It's a different shita. You don't see this from the place. According to him, I said the other day, maybe a table, you're not going to be allowed to move. Because the table is not something that's tadeh b'tashmish. It's something that you use, but it's not something that you move around, right? So I'm not, but you see his example. You think there's a Havamina in the world they answered a cup? Well, the Rishonim certainly thought there was a Havamina because they all are only makel if you hold tadeh b'tashmish and b'chulei, right? But you see, it's a different gang in the Ganta Sukkah, the Bible. Okay, Adkan is Klishim Lach Heter, and now we go weiter. Now we go to Tefillin. Yeah, Mary? Mm-hmm. Yeah, the Gzil Gzer. How do they get dressed? It's not the kasha, because you're allowed to use it. No, so he's asking, how did they get dressed in the original Gzer when they answered everything if clothing was included? So the Baal Tanya asks you a question, you should make a kiddush. And he says, because they held, Ein kli nitol ela tzarech davar nitol. That much they agreed, that you were allowed to be, move the kli tzarech davar nitol. So if you wanted to actually get dressed with it, you would be allowed to get dressed with it. The motion. Okay. Akapan. Das is Adkan. Okay, let's get to this. Tefillin. Okay. So what's the big shiloh that we have to deal with? That's the big shiloh. So my son, if you all remember, he came out of Bidud. This is when he was putting on the tefillin. He came out of Bidud on Shabbos, I think was when he came out of Bidud. And he finished Corona, whenever it was, I think it was on Shabbos. And then he was putting on, no, this is when he went into Bidud. The Corona was after. But he was putting on tefillin, and he put on his tefillin the Sunday. Right, he had a bunch of in the tefillins because we were in Bidud and whatever, all types of stuff. So Shabbos was the first day that he was coming out of Bidud. Now that means that we were supposed to practice putting on the tefillin like normal people for the last week, whatever, right? But because of the matziv, I couldn't go near him. So I couldn't practice with him putting on tefillin. Now he's putting on tefillin for the first time Sunday morning. Right? Shabbos was the first day that I was able to practice with him putting on the tefillin. Okay, so now we have to don the big shot. Can I put on the tefillin on him on Shabbos? Could we try on the tefillin? Can we go and put the tefillin on in order that the kid should know how to put on tefillin? Who says yes? Who says no? Who says no? You say no? You say yes. Who says yes? Who says no? No, you can't put tefillin on Shabbos. What are you, a guy? What are you, what are you, a woman? What? Sorry? No, I mean like a weird woman. What? It's not good chinuch. Rabbi Khan says not good chinuch. Yeah, and locking your child up for 2 weeks in a room is also not such good chinuch. You see, we're not makbid. Okay, wait, slow. So a few years ago, this story I think I said, because when it happened, I said it in the koil, but it was a few years ago, so it could be before your time. So, both of you, don't worry. So a few years ago, so they asked me, somebody, I had a Talmud, it was a yeshiva bacher who was like a counselor, I don't know what you call it, like a madrich or whatever, in one of these like summer program, and they asked if I would speak. He asked me, because I'm his Rabbi, and he asked me to speak. It was a very, very, very modern, very modern kfutza, a very modern kfutza. So sure, I'm always, I like to speak. I like to be mechazik people. It's my thing, So he just, he told me that the thing is, it's a co-ed group. Co-ed means, you guys are like Kaddish Vitar. Co-ed means it's like boys and girls together. That doesn't mean boys that are girls. It means that the boys and girls together. At the boys and girls together, that's illegal. You're not allowed. I'm not allowed to talk for such an audience. What could you do? I once had a Maisa that I went to a shul. They didn't tell me, and then when it came time they asked me to speak after Shachris. And comes after Shachris, all of a sudden the mechitza goes down. And the whole mechitza goes down. There's the men, there's ladies, and this, that. Now what do? Well, I can't speak in front of men and ladies. It's not allowed. They're not allowed to do such a thing, right? So I explained to them what's a mechitza. I told them that you think that a mechitza is something that separates men and ladies. It's fakert point. A mechitza is something that makes men and ladies come together, because without this, you're not allowed to be sitting together in this room, right? Al yidei the mechitza, that's the only way that you're able to be together in this room. right? So it's exact opposite. And it's the same thing with Rabbi Shalom. Rabbi Shalom has all these mechitzas in front of him that we can't, get from the Kedusha, because without it, you wouldn't be able. It wouldn't be shaykh, right? So that's the mechitza. It worked. They put back up the mechitza. But over here, it was a Croat group, and he asked me to talk to them. I told him, no, I don't, it's not my thing. I told them like this. I think I said the story over here. I said the story. I told them, and besides the Meister, what I was going to talk about, what am I going to start talking about? Shabbos, and we start talking to these. I told this story. You told these guys you can't do this, you can't. They don't understand the beauty of Shabbos like we understand the beauty of Shabbos. So what are you going to do? You're going to start telling them Shabbos, you can't do this, you can't do that. Then they're just going to hear you can't. So you got to start with things like in the positive, like Shema. You're telling them. I was going to talk about tefillin. It's also that week's parsha. Talk about it in the summer. Those parshas over there, tefillin, you take antennas and you connect it to HaKadosh Baruch Hu, and it's like this and that. So he tells me, don't worry, it's fine. The girls there, they wear tefillin too. No, you don't understand Kallus. Kallus can deal. You give me somebody who's Yetzer Hara, he likes girls, he likes drugs. I can understand it. No problem. Bring him to me, and I can make him normal. Girls with tefillin, and that's not for me. Not for me. I don't understand these things. Give me, no, not for me. Anyways, why am I telling you this? So the shaila was that, so I asked somebody else if they'll do it instead of me. So he taka liked my idea, the person. So he said, they're coming to me, this person, this other Rav, he said, they're coming to me on Shabbos. And I like your idea of tefillin. He says, can I take out the tefillin on Shabbos to actually show them and do all types of zachen and, show them things on Shabbos and putting on the tefillin? Obviously, shaloi l'shem mitzvah, because the shem mitzvah is aser, because you're not allowed. It's an ice. Shabbos is an ice, and you're not allowed to have another. But shaloi l'shem mitzvah, we know already. Anybody who's learning the Daf HaYomi now, it's all about the mitzvah tefillin, right? And tefillin, and that's, it's all sugya over there. And you put it on, and you're not putting it on the shem mitzvah, whatever. So this was the kasha. Somewhat the same shaila. You had to put on tefillin on Shabbos. The kai govna, that it's like somewhat of a tzarech gufay. So now we have to down what's tefillin, and I'm going to tell you a very interesting thought today. Okay, but this is the shaila. If you're allowed to put on tefillin to give a shir about tefillin, am I allowed to give it on tefillin to practice wearing tefillin for tomorrow? Who wants to, before I say the shir, who wants to say yes? Who says yes? Yes. And who says no? Who says no? And the Chamshi is just like with the finger lach, right? He still doesn't understand. Girls wearing tefillin, why didn't you like, okay. Okay. So like this, it starts like this. This is a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun, right? Also, tefillin is like a geschmack. So somebody once came to the Chazanish and he told them, you see, Chaver, they're wearing tefillin like over here. Like what I'm talking about. I was like, and the Shabura says it's better not to wear them in the first place, because Voltigefeng, you wouldn't have put them on. So then you didn't make a bracha levatala. Now you put them on, it's brachas levatala. So he went to the Chazanish. He says, what do I do? I see some old Hungarian Yid. He's old enough to be, Noach's grandfather. And I'm going to tell him, you're not wearing your tefillin, not yoytze. He's going to say, I'm old enough to be. I remember when the Chavetz Chaim was bar mitzvah, then you're talking to me there. Yeah. What are you going to do? So the Chazanish thought for a minute. The Chazanish said, Zugim nicht as nicht yoytze. Don't tell him he's nicht yoytze. Zugim is besser as Besser. I say, better? Everybody can be better. You tell him it's better. He's going to say, oh, shkoyach, better. It's the best, So tefillin is like one of those zachen that it's a cost doch nicht Geld. The guy's putting on tefillin anyways. It's something which is moishech a person. You understand? It's a good thing. Okay, so let's see. So there's a mefurish rate over here. It's like it's also mefurish. You don't even need Kallus. Over here it says in the Heilige Ramah, it says utfillin ein l'taltalam kiyam l'tzayrich, right? Kiyam l'tzayrich. Tefillin, you're not allowed to move around your tefillin unless there's a tzarech. What does it mean? So right away, our Rabbi, the Mishnah Berurah, he tells us the makor of the Ramah, which is the Trumas Hadeshen, that it doesn't mean kiyam l'tzarech gufa mekayma. It means any tzarech, because he's learning that tefillin is a kli shemalachta leheter. We finally found a kli which is not tadir b'tashmish. This might be megala on a lot of the things we spoke about. Right, you could done with this, but I prefer to go into tefillin night now. But because you're not using it on Shabbos, even though during the week it is tarta b'tashmish. Okay, whatever. Anyways, but the Ramah, our Rabbi, told us kedei shelo yignavu. Even you're allowed to move your tefillin from chamel itself, which is a very important thing to move your tefillin. Sometimes people think that tefillin, they're nice to be nice and warm, and they put them on the radiator. Your posheya, your tefillin are probably screaming and they're burning, right? And then who knows if they're kosher? You never put your tefillin in anywhere. Don't leave them in the car and all these things and whatever, right? So now you have your tefillin. It's a kli shemalachta leheter. You can move it even out of the sun. There's a group of angry looters, and you can take inside your tefillin. That's the sheet of the Heilig Rama. What's the hesber of that sheet? We'll have to see. Comes again the Taz, and he starts screaming. The Taz over here in Sivkat and Gimel, the Taz is screaming, Tzarchiyim. Are you allowed to wear tefillin on Shabbos, Rabbi say? No. So it's a kli whose function is to do what? That which is forbidden to do on Shabbos. So what is she? She's a kli, shumlach l'yisr. You're telling me, but there's this one weird case that you can wear it. You know, we know that if you wear tefillin, it's a protection and shmira, but that's not the norm. So you're right. The kai governor, it'll be called maybe it's our gufa. If you want to wear your tefillin in order because you want to have a shmira because you're going with bad guys or something like that, so then fine. So you can wear your tefillin. You can wear your tefillin, right? But that's a tzarech gufa. That's not the normal attachment of the tefillin. So das is a greise machlek. It's vision. Taz and the Heilig Rama. The Rama sagt das a kli shemach heter. Sorry, because it'll be tzarech gufay. It'll be, let's say, what it'll be, says the Taz. It'll be a kli shemach le'isr. Kli shemach le'isr. What is tzarech gufay? What's gufay? Gufay is I'm using it so that when the looters see me in a pair of tefillin, you know what kind of pachet those angry looters are going to have when they see me in a pair of tefillin. They're going to run for the hills. Those guys. You understand? Good. No, but it's like anything. It's like using my screwdriver and my hammer, right? So now I'm using it for a davar shel mutter. It's only also to put on tefillin when you're putting them on l'shem mitzvah. But when you're putting them on l'shem shmida, so then you're using the tefillin for a davar shel mutter. Sorry? I don't think so because you mean and when I need the leather shoes, like because what's it called? Because I'm going in a place where there's mud or whatever. Okay, maybe. Sorry. So maybe that's the word that Frankel says, maybe Pshat in the Heilig Rama is that it's Osir, but it's not Osir mitzad a Melacha of Shabbos. It's not Melechas Shabbos. But I'm not convinced. It's mitzad the Ois of Shabbos. It's like mitzad it's mitzad Hilchis. I don't know if that's called mitzad Hilchis Tefillin or mitzad Hilchis Shabbos. Derech Agav. But even l'shitas, whatever, either l'shitasi, it doesn't matter. You're saying it's not a melacha, it's not a muksa, it's not an isser drabanan of the melechas of Shabbos, of the gzeiris of Shabbos. It's something else. It's more of it's not a kli shemelach. Kenzain does his gate the machleke. Kenzain, so Kenzain does Kenzain. The grass, you can hear Beit Tzaddim. It could be what he's saying is the pshat. The truth is, let me finish this part of the share by saying, and then maybe tomorrow I'll be marich a little bit more. But just, you can hear Beit Tzaddim, you can hear one side is a melachta leheter, you can hear one side, she's a melachta le'isser, who goes like this. The Graz, the Mogen Avram is a little bit mesupik, but the Graz, the Ben Ish Chai and Mikates, his base, they go, a tefillin is a melachta le'isser. Versteht sich the baitel of the tefillin is batel to the tefillin, whatever the tefillin bag is, wherever the tefillin is the tefillin baitel, is the bag, and whatever, okay. So what's the din? Says the Mishabura, our Rabbi, he says, B'shas atchak, you can consider tefillin to be a klisha melach leheter. B'shas atchak, you can consider tefillin to be a klisha melach leheter. It's a big machlekes, the Rama and the Graz. Mishabura says, B'shas atchak, you consider it to be a melach leheter. And there's a third shita here, which considers tefillin to be a chesaron kes. That in Mitzvah Shem I'll talk about tomorrow when we start chesaron kes. Well, what's the logic? That's the most sense. That makes the most sense. It's a kli that I never use for anything else, except for what? Except for, that's the only time I ever use my tefillin is to wear my tefillin okay. So let's wait on that till tomorrow. Fine. I have two shilas. It's at the end of the year. Let me give you two things to think about. As I wanted to be married, but let me give you two things to think about now. Like this. The Taisa Shabbos I just mentioned says that tefillin are chesaron kes. Okay? Mishabura doesn't even mention that side. Okay, Mishabura just says, he says, Al-Kain ein l'taltalin ki'im b'tzarech l'gufan olam kaimim b'kol makam b'makam atchak. Any time that you want to save the tefillin's life, it's probably a makam atchak, right? So usually, what's the case? The tefillin are outside and the looters are coming. So then, yes, we're going to let you move them inside. We're going to take on their malachta leheter, right? Or what's the other case? You see they're in the sun. Me, whenever I see tefillin in the sun, I can't think the rest of Shabbos. This is Shayna Ready Shabbos Tzchak. We're going to let you move the tefillin. You understand what I'm saying? So generally, we're going to let you move the tefillin. Okay. Now, what if the tefillin are on the floor? Okay. What if the tefillin are on the floor? So you can allow to pick up the tefillin? What? Yeah. So Nussi says, yeah. Nussi can't save tefillin on the floor. You know what? He's probably right. But you should know, it's such an interesting shaila. because I'm not saying, yeah, but your tefillin, Rabbi side, let's say he's a married person, his tefillin are inside his talis bag, which is inside, it's inside the tefillin baitel, which, okay, that's maybe called a kli, which is bottle to the tefillin, the place can say. That's called a kellion. It's bottle to the tefillin. Okay, then there's another bag, like a baitel, which is holding the talis. So it's not miyuchad just for tefillin. That's how I do it. I take my tefillin bag and put it into my talis bite like that, That's what many people do. I think I'm not the only one, right? Plus, half the time it's in the talus, it's like in the talus also. So it's wrapped by a talus, it's wrapped by a bag, it's wrapped by the talus, it's wrapped by plastic that you bought me, thank you very much, right? It's wrapped by a plastic, okay? So pashtis, that would be called the kli b'tay kli. It's a very difficult sugya in Zman, I think Mem Gimel it was. It's a very difficult sugya, right? Nafkamina, let's say a person's in the airport and he can't find somebody to watch his film. There he is, he's sitting there waiting for an airplane. This guy looks like one of the looters himself. Right? You're going to say to him, yo, man, you can watch my tefillin. You're going to come back. He'll have eaten them. He'll be benching. Who's going to give the tefillin to this character? So what could you do? If you're in a wheelie, nishkaferlich at all, it's inside a wheelie. Even if he has no breira, I'm saying, if there's anybody there that can watch the tefillin, right? So then, it's a bacher. The bacher a few months ago called me up. Evil bacher. So you have to, he called me up from the airport. He said to me, Rabbi, am I allowed to take my tefillin into the airport, into the bathroom? I said to him, you can't find anybody here. He said, okay, that's my next question. My next question is that he's on a plane with like 3,000 seminary girls, and then the only ones, so he's last year you go over to one of the, sleep, it's, it sounds like a gemara, go to the bathroom and tell him stay there, No, but I don't know. Like that, you get the point. But let's say there's no one there. There's no one there. I had this one time. I was by the Nazis in Germany, in the airport over there, right? I'm not giving my tefillin to any of these Adolfs or anything. I'm not touching my tefillin, right? And there was no one around. There was like a stopover. And I had a wheelie, so it didn't matter. What are those called? The little travel-on things. So it didn't matter. Oh, the man's got to do it. There's a line gate to the bathroom. And okay, fine, because it's also shtickle bizarre and, But probably with the plastic and with this, it's a complicated thing. That's why I'm oversimplifying. But my point is that I'm getting to the bathroom with a plastic, we should, whatever. Okay, get the book, fine. Now the phone's on the floor. Lefi, why should you pick it up? Everyone should pick it up, okay? Even on Shabbos. Why? Because we look at that as a shasat chak. Because this entire conversation is nice. It's halachadik, it's very nice. But the Kenish Zayin, Matarnish, there can't be such a thing, right? I'm dining in a utopia world if we wouldn't have those feelings. I don't know if that's utopia, right? But if we would not have those feelings, you understand what I'm saying? Like, I'm dining in a world that if you wouldn't have those feelings, which you should have those feelings. He's right. Pick it up. That's where we'll be saymich at Ziklishim out there and pick it up for the purpose of it not being on the floor. But just in theory, what? Lishma. Yeah, Torah Lishma. Thank you. Thank you. Right? Torah Lishma, which we do a lot of in this kind of the Torah Lishma. Should you pick up the tefillah? You should leave them on the floor. Yeah, what do you say? What do you say? I'm asking, what do you say? You leave on the floor? What do you say? Leave on the floor? It's pasnish, no? No, I said you can't say pasnish. I mean Allah. It would sound like you should leave it on the floor. No, that's not what you're getting to now. But that's okay. So that's one thing to think about. When tefillin are on the floor, pashtis min halacha would have been mutter, but it doesn't matter. That's a shatzat chak. That goes into that we can't be soivelit, and that's the right feeling. And therefore, even if she's normally we're going to chaysha she's a klishim machtal yeser, if I say right, we'll consider it to be a klishim machtal heter, and that you'll be allowed to move it around, and it should take it off of the floor. Okay. You got so late. One second. Let me just say one more thing to the other. I want you to think about what you guys do to me today. Okay. All right. What happened here? I don't know what to do. Well, the first minute of tomorrow, because we have to start Chasar and Kids. Well, no, it got so late over here, no? What should I do? All right, I'll just think about one thing. How's this? Just think about it. Think about it. I can't, it's going to take me 2 minutes. All right, I'll see you all tomorrow. Okay.